Hello, everybody. We're taping this at a little after 7 a.m., giving you an update on today and the next few days because all of a sudden winter has settled in. And as I look out over the next 2 to 3 weeks through the middle of March, I see a lot of winter in there, like cold temperatures, no big warm-ups, significant ones, long-lasting ones, a lot of storm chances in there too. Today's storm unfolding right now. This is a look at the radar, and I also threw temperatures on there too to give you an idea of where we stand. Right now, snow is filling in over southwestern Maine, but we're still a few hours away from anything significant getting to eastern Maine, and especially to northern Maine. And look at the temps up in Caribou and Holton. 4 below in both. Bangor's just 17. We have teens, Augusta, Lewiston, 20s, Portland, Sanford, starting to show signs of some milder air near the coastline. I think eventually that'll win out and bring some 30-degree numbers to the coast, which will make things a little less efficient as far as accumulation goes as we roll through the day. But right now, with this snow falling, it's instantly sticking. Roads are kind of a mess out there, to be honest, for this morning's commute. And that's why there are a ton of cancellations, or in my kids' case, they have a remote learning day. We've mastered that in COVID, and they're applying that now to this snow day. They did get a few earlier in the season, complete days off, but I think right now we're looking at those at-home school days. So we'll see how they like that when I see them in a few hours. Probably not too much. So that's the now. Here's how it looks like as the day, kind of unfolds and plays out. I'll roll this timeline for you, rolling it out to midday. This is noon. Finally, the snow getting up to Bangor, Brewer, Ellsworth, Bucksport, Bar Harbor. Steady snow for much of the rest of the area. And also notice these stronger winds coming in off of the water bring 30, 31, 32 degree temps. So I wouldn't be shocked if the roads actually improve a little bit during the middle of the day, even though the intensity of the snow picks up and stays pretty steady. Like Blacktop, even though there's no sun hitting it, just the fact that we're seeing daylight will, I think, get a little better. And then start to deteriorate again late in the afternoon as the sun goes down and we start to get into some more darkness at dusk. This is the afternoon and evening. That's 5 o'clock right there. It's steady snow for everyone, and I would think that roads are slushy at the very least, if not snow covered without a plow or a treatment in any case. And then this continues right through the late evening and finally tapers off like 1, 2 in the morning just about everywhere. That's when we'll see some snow showers and flurries lingering around, but the bulk of the accumulation is pretty much over. We could have seen a much bigger snowfall out of this had we been able to get into the area of low pressure's precipitation shield. We aren't. That's staying to our south. So this is all upper level dynamics, all upper level lift, which is going to take a while to finally sift out of the atmosphere. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some lingering flakes down east at dawn tomorrow. But again, accumulation pretty much over by then. So I did widen the range a little bit. I think there's going to be a big range in snowfall amounts. And honestly, a lot's going to depend on, I think, on how you measure the snow. If you were taught how to do it by the National Weather Service, where they have an official way to measure, it's like every few hours they go out and they use a wood board and a ruler there, you're going to get a higher amount just because the wood is cold. You're brushing off the board every few hours, so you're starting fresh. You're not getting compaction. Most people, though, don't have that luxury or that ability, and they just, put a ruler down in the driveway, right? In a few places on the driveway, and you get a measurement like that. So I think the amounts, when it's all said and done, are going to be all over the place. So a 4 to 8 kind of just widens it a little bit and puts more of us likely into that range as opposed to that 3 to 6. So 4 to 8 inches. the places that I think get the highest amount, like the 7 and 8 inches, are going to be right here, just on the other side of 95, where that ocean influence doesn't have as big of, an effect. So you get a little bit more fluff in that area because you stay just a tad colder. But the ratios are going to go down along the coastline here. So maybe like a half a foot, somewhere either side of a half a foot. But I think it's 7, 8 in here, in these areas here. Bangor, I've got you right on a 4. And then north of there, it's 2 to 4 inches. And that's pretty much, late in the day, or if not tonight, north of Bangor, Lincoln, Millinocket, Holton, Caribou, you're getting your 2 to 4 later on tonight. Let's start talking about what happens after the storm, because this, as advertised yesterday, is going to be a tough winter week. Big warm-ups, a couple of more storms coming our way, with storm number 2 moving through Wednesday night and Thursday. Now this one isn't very big. It's kind of a little guy, and it's not very organized. So it also will allow for milder air to work in, enough so that we're mixing with rain. So what I think will happen is there'll probably be like a little slush along the coastline Thursday morning. Inland areas could get 1 to 3 inches of wet snow Thursday morning. Still looking at the biggest potential Friday night and Saturday. This storm, while not the most powerful area of low pressure, will be more of a nor'easter type storm. I'm not super concerned about like power outages with wind or coastal flooding or anything like that, but it will be producing a northerly or northeasterly wind, which locks in cold, okay? And the track is actually going to be a little closer to us than the one that's going through now. And that puts us in the overrunning or precipitation shield. This one that we're getting today does not. It's all upper level energy. This one would have both upper level energy and the precipitation shield. So I could see a bigger snow potential out of this one, probably right around double-digit snowfall over more of an area, a more widespread area, as opposed to the one today that might just be 1 or 2 towns that get over 8 or something like that. So it's still a little early to start throwing numbers around, and I'll say that because not every model is on board with this. These are a few models that we look at. European, the American, the Canadian model. Now the European we're going to lose because it was the 6C run and it doesn't go out past 90 hours. However, the GFS, the American model, it is a hit with the low itself going right over Nantucket. On the Canadian, the low goes off of Atlantic City and south of Nantucket. So it's almost a miss for us, but still grazes far southern Maine. I like the upper level pattern, so I'm leaning more toward the American model. And last night's run of the Euro also supported that too, that it was more of a hit. So right now, as of this moment, we're looking at some sizable snow totals Friday night and Saturday. And not like a crippling blizzard, like I mentioned. I'm not hugely concerned about wind or coastal flooding, but it would be more snow than what we're getting today. So I could see a lot of places like, in an 8 to 12 inch range, or maybe it's 6 to 12 or somewhere in that ballpark, but definitely double digit totals, a good chance of them, And like I said, there's more. Look at this GFS run. Here's your 540 line, all right? That's kind of like the divider between cold winter and spring in the south. This is Maine right there. And that 540 line stays down there. And this is going out. Now this is, let's see, we're up to the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, comes crashing back south again. There's really no sign of any prolonged warm-up all the way out through the middle of the month. This is all the way through now the 15th, 16th now, and it's still cold. And there are still opportunities for storms because it's active across the U.S. The West Coast, in that case, still getting storm after storm. Great for their drought situation. Wonderful for it. But that energy comes across the country and gives rise to storms for us. So, if you were hoping for an early spring, it doesn't look like that's going to pan out. It doesn't look like it's in the cards. And I know we've had a lot of tastes of spring over the last few weeks and couple of months, even back in January too. I mean, we were setting record highs in the last couple of months, but I don't see record cold, but I don't see any kind of that spring surge moving in here to New England anytime soon. So sit back, enjoy winter. It's finally here. I'm a huge fan of it and proponent of it. I like to be outdoors in it, whether it's skating or skiing or hiking through the woods, whatever. And I suggest that you take up a little winter hobby too, because sometimes our springs are rough around here, and when you really want to jump into them, they just aren't. They're not going to happen. So if you embrace this type of weather and find a way to enjoy it a little bit, whether it's something as simple as taking a 10-minute walk around your block every evening before dinner or something like that, I think you'll appreciate it a little bit more and not necessarily despise it as much if you happen to be a winter hater, which isn't me. So that's it for now. We'll have updates throughout the day because this is going to be ongoing and unfolding throughout the day, and we'll catch you again at some point later this week because obviously there's more coming our way. See you later.